Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hello Monday. We are at Monday, April 17th. Hard to believe the month is flying by. My hair is having a moment. Fix that a little bit. I have been busy out in the garage working. Our garage, I don't know if it is for you guys, but our garage becomes somewhat of a dumping ground. And I have tried organizing it and reorganizing it and reorganizing it. And I want this to be the final and best organizational endeavor ever. And both my husband and I are working on it, and it's going to be a multi-phase project. So what I was doing was spending a couple hours before coming on here, just doing some prep work, measuring. We want to get some new shelving put in there, and just make it a little bit more accessible and user friendly for us. So that has been the start to my day and week so far. Let me say hello in the comment section here in case anybody comes on. Hello, thank you for joining. What else? Yeah, I just can't believe it's already almost the end of April. I didn't say last week, but I hope people had a good Easter for those who celebrated. And I think with no further ado, let's get into today's question. And then I do have a question that was asked in the comments from last week that I'll answer. And it was really cool to read everybody's responses about the different celebrities that you met. It was really cool. I always think it's fun, whether it's like a planned event, like some friend commented that she was at a fundraiser. Well, another friend commented that she just ran into somebody in the grocery store. And that reminds me, I just real quick, I want to say, I just totally forgot. So a couple years ago, hey Donna, hi Andrew, thank you for coming on. Yes, Andrew, that was another thing we worked on this past weekend was getting our taxes done. So I think today is the deadline. If you haven't finished your taxes, you have till midnight to get them in the mail, get them postmarked. But we got ours done last week, and that felt really good to get done. But back to my other little celebrity sighting. So a couple years ago, well, quite a few years ago now, Andrew and I were going to take a trip to Canada. So we needed a passport. Andrew needed to get his updated, and I needed one, period. I had never gotten a passport. So we were at the post office on the Stanford campus, of all places. And lo and behold, we're, up there. And, if you've ever gotten a passport through the post office, you know that it can take a while. A lot of forms, a lot of questions, a lot of bureaucracy. Well, I noticed this petite-looking woman standing to our left with her college-age daughter, and I just knew, I had a suspicion that it was Katie Couric, but it wasn't until I heard her voice, I was like, oh yeah, that's Katie Couric. And she was totally like down-dressed. She wasn't really wearing any makeup. She had like a baseball cap, workout clothes. What it was she was there helping her daughter move out of the dorms, probably. And so she was just there helping her daughter, and it was really cool because even though I know other people noticed her too, no one like said anything, and I did exchange a glance with her, and I think she realized that I could recognize who she was, but I didn't want to interrupt him or anything. But yeah, it's just kind of cool when you see, quote unquote famous people out in the wild doing their thing. Sometimes you don't even notice. So anyway, that was a fun little story. But now let's get on to the question. Let's see. What will it be? What will it be? Oh, these questions crack me up. I wrote them so long ago. I don't remember what they were. That's kind of the fun of it. So, and these questions came somewhat from some from a friend who helped me come up with questions because she kind of knew me. But then also I just went to the computer, and there are auto-generated questioner thingies that can help generate just random questions, probably for like game nights or content inspiration or things like this. So this one is, if you were in a witness protection program, what would be your new name and where would you go? Wow. Okay, so if I were in the witness protection program, I think my new name, I've always liked the name Elizabeth because you know Liz for short. So yeah, I think my new name would be Elizabeth. What's a good middle name? Elizabeth. Um, I'm flashing of scenes from Phoebe on Friends and how she used to come up with really wacky names off the top of her head. Um, and I'm not nearly that creative. So I'm going to go with Elizabeth Angela Dusseldorf. I don't know. And where would I go? Wow. Well, if it's wave a magic wand and go anywhere I want, I would probably move to somewhere. My gut check answers are Canada, somewhere in Canada, or Sweden. I have Swedish heritage, and I have a very romanticized idea of what living in Sweden would be like, even though I know it's very cold and it's dark a lot of the year because their solstice is very different than here, in the Western, in the United States. It gets darker a lot earlier, um, and I want to say stays darker later. Yeah, I think I said that right. And what I don't know is if it's reversed in the summer, if they have longer periods of daylight. But um, I know it's more exaggerated than it is here. So yeah, I think that's where I'd want to go. And Canada, just because every time I've been there, it's been a lot of fun, and there are a lot of provinces I have yet to explore. And I think it's Quebec, which I've heard is much very French provincial because Quebec used to be settled mainly by the French, and so a lot of that cultural, DNA still exists there. So that would be kind of cool, kind of like being in France without being in France. So yeah, what about for you? Put it in the comments below if you're still here with me, where you'd want to go, if you have a favorite name that you wish you'd been named that you weren't. Um, I don't know why my parents picked Jody, to be honest. Jody can be a derivative of Joan, but we didn't really know a Joan, so I kind of just think my parents thought it sounded cool, sounded nice. I wish I knew the story of why they picked my name, and they're no longer with me, so I can't ask them. And I've asked relatives, and they don't really know either. So I'm assuming it's just something as random and common as my mom was flipping through a baby book, said, "Hey, Jody Marie, that sounds cool. That sounds nice. John, that's my dad's name. What do you think?" "Sure, great." And that's how I got my name. I don't know, Drew, what do you think? You think that's how it went down? If you think so, say yes in the comments. As for a comment that Donna asked last week, from last week's vlog, she wanted to know how Andrew and I met. And I love to answer. So the Reader's Digest version is that we met through the online interneting. We were living in separate states. He's here in California, and I was in South Carolina. And we're both little people. And there is a little people organization that has an annual conference. And my friend and roommate at the time was going to the conference, which happened to be in California that year. So Robin, my roommate's name, met Drew. First, they were friends. She was dating somebody else at the time. And she came back. I didn't go to that conference. So she came back home to South Carolina, and we were talking about conference, and I was asking her if she'd met anybody or, how it went, all the things. And she said, "Oh, it was fine." And then she was chatting online one night on chat. So back in the day, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you guys know. There used to be chat services like Yahoo and AOL and Instant Messenger. And so she was chatting online on Yahoo with Drew, and I happened to come into her room and I was like, "Oh, who are you chatting with?" And she said, "Oh, that's, Drew, the guy I told you about at conference." And then so I got on the computer and said hi. And long story short, we found out we have similar interests. We started chatting online a lot. We started talking on the phone. Then a few months later, I came out here to California and we actually met each other. And yeah, so the rest is history, as they say. It was really, I like the fact that we got to get to know each other over the computer, like online, long distance. Even though as we got closer, it was really hard to be apart. I think it was a really fun and foundational way for us to get to know each other, especially later in life. We both pretty much knew who we were and what we wanted and what we wanted out of a relationship and all the things. So it was just really a lot of fun to share some of our past experiences, talk about who we were and what we wanted. And then a lot of time we just had fun gaming. We were both very competitive. We like to play games. So we would play online cribbage. I think he taught me spades online. We would play online backgammon. And then when we met in person, we just continued to, um, you know, do all those things just together. So I moved out here to California probably a year and a half or so after we had met online and all of our long distance uh, visits and never looked back. So I'm very thankful. It was a great courtship. We were married a couple years later, and we this October will be our. And I'm sorry if I get this wrong, Drew. We were married in 2007, and I'm terrible at math. So yeah, do the math. I think that's going to be 17, 19, 20, 15 years. I think so. Yeah, and it feels just like yesterday. And I know that seems and sounds so cliche, but it really does. Time has gone by so fast, and I just love him and I love our life and feel very blessed and very thankful to have found my person. So, yeah. With that, I think I will, unless there's any other uh, questions in the comments or anything else anybody wants to talk about, I'm going to wrap this one up for today. Uh, I got my ceremonial afternoon soda here. So I'm going to go enjoy the rest of this and get this video ready for publishing. And then a sink full of dishes await me. Yay. Wouldn't be a Monday, right? Without that. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching this. If you're seeing this on the replay, keep the questions coming. Keep in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up. It helps it and all the YouTube algorithmy things. And until next time, bye for now. Thanks.